So away from smuggling, Galamsey, climate change. So a few days ago, I was in a climate change training. Very big topic, and it looks like we're overlooking it. But how much impact is climate change having on our cocoa production?
It's huge, very huge. The impact of climate change is huge because if you look at production trends, it has changed. In fact, now our research wing is even developing a manual on how we even do our farmer education and sensitization. Over the years, we know, like, okay, between this period to that period, that's when you have the rainfall pattern. You have the rain at a point. We have Hamatan at this season.
Yeah.
These days, you sometimes have rainfall during December.
Yeah.
And June, July, where you have
Yeah.
rainfall, you have dry spell.
Yeah.
So even when you are supposed to apply the fertilizers, because if you apply the fertilizers, the granular fertilizer, you need rainfall for them to melt in order to get into the soil to get production. Your expectation is that you have rainfall within the period. You apply it, there's no rainfall.
Yeah.
It affects your production.
Yeah.
So its effect is huge. And I think the period where you have the cocoa also flowering.
Yeah.
So the reason why we have the light crop and then the main crop is that the main crop beans meets the rainfall. So when the cocoa flowers and there's a huge rainfall, it helps with pod development. This time round, we are having incidents of dry spell within the period where you're supposed to have the rainfall.
Yeah.
So there will be there will be flowering, but then we don't meet the rainfall, so you don't even get your cocoa.
Meanwhile, you've spent money too.
You spend money. You've prepared, you've done your pruning, you've sprayed your chemicals that is supposed to help with pod flowering, flowering inducers. But because it doesn't meet the rainfall, it affects your production. For someone who is sitting just criticizing, the person who said that, oh, because you have not invested into the industry, that is why you are not having result. But the point is that it did not meet the raining season, for which reason you've lost out.
Wow.
So, and that is just to give you an idea of the impact or the effect climate change is having on our industry. Unfortunately, we rely on rain-fed agriculture as a country, and we are not there yet. At present, Cocoa Board is piloting. In fact, we've done the pilot to a state where we are supposed to roll out fully irrigation. The cost involved so far, those that we have tried, is a little bit on the higher side, so there's the need for us to find one that the farmers will be convinced that indeed it serves the purpose.
Yeah.
Because yes, it's about the mathematics. You need to do the cost-benefit analysis. So yes, the effect of climate change is one that is telling on our industry.
But what are the scientists saying? We have the Cocoa Research Institute, no?
Yes, Cocoa Research Institute.
What are they saying? Is it something that we can do to reverse this, or this is out of our hands and is up to nature and we have to just study the pattern and realign?
We need to protect our environment. It is critical. It is critical to protect our environment because if we look at the geography of our country, cocoa production is within our forest zones. And our forest zones, that is where the rainfall pattern is better. In a situation where we are cutting our forest and doing illegal mining, definitely it will have effect on our production as a country. So if we are able to deal with that, it helps. One problem which we've also even identified, and it's even the major problem when it comes to irrigation, is the Galamsey, where the river bodies, which we are supposed to use for irrigation. Now the color
is polluted.
Yes, hugely polluted. So you're unable to use it, and it's even adding to the costs of the irrigation system we are trying to introduce. because you have to then use boreholes, so sinking the boreholes and all that. And sometimes the water quality and the water levels, the quantity you'll be able to get for the purpose is also problematic. So it adds to our cost. So yes, we have a challenge. The scientists are still exploring. They've made some recommendations. They are not sufficient yet, but there's still the need for us to explore further. Yes, their initial proposal is for us to go irrigation. But with irrigation, how do you use the polluted water to irrigate?